Alright guys, let's back at it. Let's make another video and let's call out the New York Times, because the New York Times went through and fact-checked the final debate. And I thought, oh, this will be interesting. There's no way that this is going to be a partial thing, right? They're obviously got to be completely non-partisan when it comes to this. I know, no. They're completely partisan. It's funny because the fact checkers are getting called out on Twitter for not actually checking facts. Although, there's a bit of a grey area here. But let's go through, let's break it all down, let's tell you what actually happened. So, the first thing they went through was, I was put through a phony witch hunt. False, they claim. Mr. Trump repeatedly sought to reinvent the history of the investigation in his campaigns to connection to Russia. He did so again on Thursday, blah, blah, blah. So they're claiming Mueller issued a 148-page report that detailed numerous contacts between President Trump's aides and the Russians. It's like he's going to become president and he needs to talk to other foreign powers, but regardless. The campaign was aware of the Kremlin's operation to sabotage the 2016 election, but it wasn't hacked, was it? What the Kremlin did? They brought ads on Facebook. Yeah, you gotta love the shifting goalposts. We're aware of the Kremlin's operation to sabotage the 2016 election. Beep, 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 beep. Hi, Mr. Putin. Yes. Mr. Putin, we would like to sabotage the election. Oh, yes, tell me, what are we going to do? We're going to buy Facebook ads, sir. Oh, okay, is that all we're going to do? Yes, so we're just going to run Facebook ads. Oh, okay, they're going to be pro-Trump or... No, so we're going to run Facebook ads for pro-Trump, pro-Bernie, pro-Hillary. Yeah, we're just going to sow a little bit of chaos by running Facebook ads. Oh, yes, that sounds like a great idea. This is how... we lost the Cold War. Like, come on, seriously. Then they also claimed that even though Mueller said there was insignificant evidence, right, so he wasn't put through a phony witch hunt, but mind you, there was insignificant evidence to charge Trump with anything, right? Anyway, his associates engaged in criminal conspiracy to convict several advisors, including Paul Manafort. What was Paul Manafort accused of again? What was his grand crime? Oh yes, that's right. Income tax evasion from like the 90s. Nothing to do with Russia. Absolutely nothing to do with it whatsoever. This is the problem. This is where mainstream media are so full of it. Because at the end of the day, they're trying to make out that Paul Manafort was charged in relation to the Russia investigation. It wasn't. He was charged because he didn't pay income taxes or whatever it was. Or he tried money laundering or something. It was something, right, don't get me wrong. He's not, best man of the year. Sure. He's a businessman. But it had nothing to do with Russia. Stop trying to push this narrative that has literally been debunked by so many people on the internet. We seem to be doing a better job of fact-checking than you do, the New York Times, and most of us aren't even getting paid for this shtick. But anyway. And by the way, he has caused the deficit to go down with China, up, not down. That's actually false. At least they fact-checked one of Biden's things, I suppose. We're rounding the turn. False, this is rounding the turn. That's completely how you see it. That is entirely perspective. To me, he said we're rounding the turn, right? He didn't say anything about number of deaths or anything like that. He could be talking about how they're handling the situation or anything like that, which I think he was at the time. At the end of the day, that is a complete perspective thing. He did nothing except in 1994 when he did such a harm to black communities. He called them super predators and said it. Super predators. False. Trump has reportedly said that Biden used the term super predators. But here's the thing. They're technically right. He didn't use the term super predators. He used the term predators instead. Yeah. This is nitpicking to the 100th degree. In fact, they actually got caught out on Twitter because of this, right? So someone's gone through and we're just going to copy the URL for this and we're going to paste the URL. No, it works that way. Right there, and let's watch this.
There's about 100,000 of them who are the predators. 100,000 of the kids you read about in the front page of the newspaper every day. Unless we do something about that cadre of young people. Tens of thousands of them. Born out of wedlock. Without parents. Without supervision. Without any structure. Without any
Come on, you can do it.
Developing, a portion of them will become the predators 15 years from now.
Oh no, he said predators instead of super predators. Like, oh my god. Oh, it gets better, don't worry. There's other things that they've fact-checked that are just as bad. And obviously, look, at the end of the day, this is them, trying to run... Yeah. Anyway. No, he didn't say super predators. He just called them predators instead. By the way, the term was used by Hillary Clinton, the First Lady. But, So they're going on about the tariffs. I don't know anything about that. I'll have to fact check that myself. Here's another one. I know more about wind than you do. It's extremely expensive. Kills all the birds. It's very intimate. Got a lot of problems. Intimate. Sorry. They happen to make the windmills in both Germany and China. Now they're saying false when it least comes to the birds. So, wonder what they mean by that. Birds that fly into the spinning blades of the wind turbines do die in large numbers. Right. Yeah, I get that. Isn't that what he's talking about here? Like, yeah, right. Let's see. But some estimates putting it the toll roughly 570,000 each year. But turbines do not number among the greatest threat to birds. Are you kidding me? Is that where you're going with this, the New York Times? Hang on. He's wrong. Trump isn't wrong when he claims that windmills kill the birds because he said it kills all birds. Right? They don't kill all of them. There's still a few that don't die from these great big spinning blades of death. Right? So therefore, Trump is factually false. We're not going to list it as mostly true. We're not going to put it as mostly true, except that large amount of birds do die from cats instead of turbines. But, hey, we can't have Trump coming across as true too much, right? Because we got to make out he's the president and liar, right? That's the whole narrative they're trying to push. To me, Trump's statement there is, windmills bad, kills birds, intermittent problems happen to make the windmills in Germany and China. Guess what? The windmills kill large amounts of birds. That is factually true. It mightn't kill all the birds. I'm sure there's a bird that dies of old age somewhere, so therefore it won't kill all the birds. But it is laser focusing on certain words to the point. It's like Trump saying, I've got the best wall. I've got the biggest wall. Now, hang on, Trump, you don't have the biggest wall. There is a wall over here built by some random guy that is slightly taller than yours. Are we... Moving along. We're trying hard, but a lot of these kids come out with their parents. They come over through the cartels and coyotes through gangs. So they're claiming this is false. Okay, really? Because we got DNA testing to prove that it doesn't, but everybody's there. The claim claims the pressure over his administration efforts to families as a result of zero tolerance of physical... The Trump administration fought for months against providing data on families who were separated, arguing that it was not necessarily because the children had already been released from federally overseen shelters and fosters and sponsors. Lawyers for the American Civil Unities, you know, the ones that are pro-Bernie, pro-Trump, pro-Biden, pro-Biden, pro-Bernie, all those sort of left-wing groups, challenged the family separation policy and said that administration's delays in providing information on the family resulted loss of the essential time of tracking the families down. Mr. Trump also claimed that the children detained at the border were well taken care of. The administration last year came under harsh criticism when it was discovered that children were subject to sickness and disease in unsanitary cells for weeks longer than legally allowed without adopting soap or toothpaste. Personally, what I would like DNA testing for every single person that comes across that border. Let's get to the bottom of this. Let's do the DNA test. Every mother, father, daughter, son, everybody. Everybody gets a DNA test. Bet you find some of these people crossing the borders, not all, some, New York Times, will not be parents, but regardless. They won't take the buildings down because they make bigger windows to small windows. Right, so they're saying this is false because of some unusual attacks that Mr. Trump has made about their opponent's climate change plan. A few extra energies seem to know what to make of it. Trump made a similar accusation, right? The Green New Deal, a framework for eliminating emissions that is different from Mr. Biden's climate plans, does include a goal to upgrade all existing buildings to the United States to achieve maximum energy efficiency within 10 years. However, low-energy buildings can't have windows of any size. Really? Really, New York Times? Trump made a similar accusations earlier this month, saying, they literally want to make the building down and rebuild the little tiny windows. Okay, little windows so you can't see out, you can't see the light. So they're saying this is false because Trump's saying they want to put windows in, but low energy buildings can have windows of any size. Okay. That's not necessarily saying what they want to do, though. You're saying that a low-energy building can have windows of any size. Okay, but their climate policy. Is their climate policy to redesign old buildings to have smaller windows because they're more energy efficient? My answer would probably be yes, if I had to look it up. Like, it's so... Look at China, how filthy it is. Look at Russia. Look at India. It's filthy. The air is filthy. Anybody that sees this in the comment section, does anybody sit there and think, I think of India and I think of lovely blue, great big oceans? Or do you sit there and think of India and think as like a potential waste of toxicity flowing down the main street? Down the main street. I don't know. What country did it where PewDiePie turned around and said, hold your defecation? I don't know. Please tell me, which country is that? Air pollution in China India is indeed a serious issue. Right, so Trump was right then, right? India is one of the most polluted countries in the world. Right, so it's sounding like Trump is definitely right, so why are you leading this as misleading? But Trump is essentially talking about the country's contribution to climate change. And on that score, his comments failed to capture the full picture. Look at China, look how filthy it is. Look at Russia, look at India, it's filthy. The air is filthy. This is misleading. The air in India and China is indeed filthy, but because of this and this and this, because of this, no. New York Times, you're full of shit. He turned around, he said the air is filthy. Look at China. Look how filthy it is. Look at Russia. Look at India. It is filthy. He is talking about sanitation in the cities. You are literally cherry-picking certain points of sentences to try and make it out that he's the chief of liars. Liar in chief. Whatever they want to call Trump. At the end of the day, he's right on this one. China is filthy. Russia is. Oh, I don't know about Russia. But India is filthy. Hold your defecation was literally a line from one of PewDiePie's songs. And India got so bent out of shape, they tried to sue him. Like, it's just like, oh my freaking God. Like, they gave him a mostly true on this one. Probably because at the end of the day, they realized they couldn't put it as mostly false. He wants to rise everybody's taxes. Mr. Biden wants to rise taxes on high-earning individuals and corporates. That has been made a clear-cut picture. Yeah, right. But he wants to remove taxes or tax cuts that Trump has put in. At the moment, if you're paying, say, 12% tax, right? But before Trump's tax cuts, you were paying 14%. Sorry, 14% tax, right? And then Biden wants to remove that 2% tax that you get back extra. Guess what? Your taxes are going to rise. It's so infuriating that a fact-checking, the New York Times can literally sit there with a straight face and claim, we're going to fact-check this. But some wanker who sits in a study with a picture of a red panda can seemingly do a better job. I'm just saying, New York Times, get your shit together and get your head out of your ass. Like, it's just... And the thing is that people are going to read this article and they're going to think these guys are right. They're just going to stand through it and say, oh yeah, he mostly lied. They're not going to sit there and go, well, hang on, wait, and they're not going to challenge it. Because people are sheep and people don't like to think for themselves. But regardless. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm sorry that I got so angry at this one. This is just, it's infuriating. Because like I said, I can seemingly do a better job of fact-checking this than these guys can. But regardless, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. 2 more videos coming up. They're going to be doozies. We're going to talk about that press conference that Trump was talking about yesterday. And we're going to talk about the bombshells that come out of that. And we might also talk about PewDiePie being shadow banned. Apart from that, guys, have a great night. Enjoy yourselves. Smack like on that video. Leave a comment because it's great for the algorithm. Apart from that, guys, I'll see you in the next demonetized video from YouTube. Talk to you later.